Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for RhodyNow Scholarship, See the Impact. We'll get started shortly, but thank you so much for making some time to be with us. And we have really great folks on our call, not only supporters of URI, but also some of our students that I know you will be excited to hear from, just as excited as we are. So we'll just wait a few more minutes here while some other folks join us that are in the waiting room. Again, my name is John Garcia. I am the Senior Executive Director of Gift Planning and RhodyNow. RhodyNow is our new and improved annual fund. We are making a focus on creating a sense of community amongst our alumni, our parents, our friends that support the university. And we're really excited for this new endeavor. It started for us on January 1st, and looking forward to continuing to build a better sense of community, because that's one thing that makes URI so special, is the sense of community that we have, not just with our students, but with the alumni and supporters and friends and athletes, student athletes, et cetera. So we're really excited to welcome you all today to the RhodyNow Scholarship, See the Impact. We have two fantastic students that I'm really excited to hear from, Nathaniel and Janae. Janae is a first-year student, and Nathaniel is a senior looking to run his own business in just a few months. So we'll let them tell their story. We also have the Vice Provost for Enrollment Services, Dean Labuti. Thank you for joining us. And our president of the URI Foundation Alumni Engagement, Lil O'Rourke. So with that being said, we'll start our program. I do have a few housekeeping items. You are all muted, as you can see. We hope that you don't mind being muted while the students are speaking and Dean's presenting. And afterwards, we will have some wonderful Q&A and opportunities for some of you to share your stories with us. So thank you again for spending some time and making time to be with us today. Also, if you have any questions, please use the chat room, or you can unmute when the time is appropriate. So with that being said, we will turn the program over to Lil, who is again the president of the URI Foundation and Alumni Engagement. Lil?
Thank you very much. It's nice to see everybody. I want to welcome you, and it's really a pleasure to introduce a great colleague in Dean Labuti, who oversees enrollment management, and he's the person that when we raise money for scholarships, he gets to distribute it to deserving students. Dean is a third-generation URI graduate with one in the pipeline, right, Dean? One of your two in the pipeline. All right, so he lives it, and he walks the walk. So that they're the fourth generation members of the family, and he has been at URI since 1999. And Dean's the reason, and his fabulous team, that once again this fall for enrollment and for interest in URI, we have another record-breaking year of applications to URI for next fall. You know, the university is in very strong position in many regards, and much of it in terms of enrollment is due to Dean and his great team. I know you're gonna enjoy hearing from him. Before Dean speaks, I want to welcome and acknowledge Mayre Gindi, who's a member of the faculty of URI, highly regarded faculty member, who's also the faculty representative to our newly formed Board of Trustees. So she's a great university citizen, and we always appreciate her participation. So Mayre's the kind of person, faculty member, that's teaching our students and nurturing them, and they benefit from her and many other colleagues. So thank you, Mayre, for being with us. And I'll turn it over to Dean.
Great, thanks, Lil. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to talk with you a little bit and then really introduce some amazing students. So as Lil said, I've been here since 1999. I'm a third generation Ram, and I like to say that my story is what I think URI is about. My grandfather was the first in the family to go to college, came to URI, graduated, and then helped get a job to help fund his siblings to also come to URI. His 3 children also attended the University of Rhode Island. That's generation 2, my dad, and I am a graduate of the MBA program in 1995. And I have 2 children here. My son is a first-year engineering student, and my daughter is a junior nursing student. And it is really an honor to work at a place that I love, but also helped make my family. It's been pretty amazing. One area I oversee is financial aid and scholarships. And I always like to tell people about the journey of where it began for me here, because URI is wonderful, but we haven't always had easy times. Back in 2008 to 2010, I don't know if you remember, the economy was not good for us, right? And the state of Rhode Island, who has always been very good to us, could not support us and cut our budget by $26 million in less than 2 years. We were losing students were dropping out, we were losing applications, and at that time, Bob Carruthers and a team said, we've got to rethink of how we want to do enrollment at URI. How can we be successful? And at that time, I was asked to come in to help. And when we started talking about how would we survive, what I love about the university is we talked about not giving up on who we are. So we wanted to still bring in our first generation students. We wanted to grow diversity. We wanted to grow quality. We wanted to do it all. And when you're losing your budget and you need to invest in financial aid when families need you, it would have been really easy to say, well, gee, we're just going to go after a certain group of students. And we said, I think we can do it all. Well, 10 years later, URI is being nationally recognized as having record enrollment, record diversity, still growth in first gen Pell Grant students. Our graduation rates, our retention rates are looking terrific at a time when we're once again in some rough patches. And so it's really exciting to talk about a university that continues to be true to who we are. I want to talk about this past year, though, before I introduce our students. COVID has been very damaging to all, especially higher education. Students are being lost. And this past year, we were seeing students saying, I don't think I can stay in school. Families are losing jobs, they're losing benefits, they're losing hope. And we weren't in this, right? No one expected a pandemic, never mind the way it's lasting. And back in October, we were looking at enrollment and saying for the spring, we were seeing record number of students saying, I think I'm just giving up. And I'm pleased to say that we were able to make hundreds upon hundreds of calls to students and say, stay with us. If you need to move out of the residence hall, stay in school. If you need extra money, we're going to help you. And as resources were coming in, and Lil knows this, they were literally going right out the door to support our students. Now, why is that important? It's not just important to keep students in school, to make their dreams a reality. It keeps our community whole, right? It's how we're funded. It's what we're about. When we have invested in students, we've won as a university, right? We've been able to hire faculty, invest in wonderful quality and attributes. And so I have to say that we are the first school, if you saw Providence Business News back in the fall that said, higher education is Rhode Island is a mess, and no one has hit their enrollment, and my perfect line, except the University of Rhode Island. Not Brown, not RISD, whatever. And then this spring, when they started talking about the loss from fall to spring, they started talking about it again. And again, that little comment, URI continues to do it. And how we do it is with you. I can be a great supporter of our students. We can have amazing students that you're going to hear from, but without the support of all of you, we wouldn't be able to make this happen. You know, we provide over $100 million in financial aid to our students. And our unmet need, if we wanted to support everyone in their need, is still $100 million, believe it or not. And so that money in normal times is needed, never mind during this. And so to talk about the RhodyNow scholarships is a beacon of hope. I can't tell you what it's like to go to my staff and say, get on the call again. We've got a little bit more. Let's keep going and let's keep going. And so it really is tremendous. But you don't want to hear from me, right? You've been seeing the articles about how we're doing and it's great. And so we have two amazing students with us today that I thought we'd do a little Q&A, that I was going to ask them a few questions. Janae and Nathaniel, that you'll hear from a little bit, represent URI, rolling up your sleeve, excelling inside and outside the classroom, knowing how to work hard, knowing how to deal with adversity, and knowing how to be a Rhody Ram. And so I am so excited to have you meet them. And so what I thought I could do, Janae and Nathaniel, if you don't mind, is, Janae, let's start with you. You're from Maryland, right? Marine bio major. Tell us how your journey came to the University of Rhode Island as a first-year student.
Yes, it is my first year as a Rhode Island Ram, and I am a marine biology major. I decided to come to University of Rhode Island just because I was really looking for a school that really fit me personally, and I didn't want to go to a really big school and I didn't want to go to a really small school. So the University of Rhode Island is a perfect fit, and I didn't really like the city life, so being here in Kingston is a lot more fitting to me. My first year here so far is amazing. I love the campus life. I love all the clubs I get to experience, and I love being a part of athletics and all of my classes.
Great, Janae, that's great. And I know we'll talk about them in a little bit. All right, Nathaniel, you're the old dog on the block, right? You've been with us for a while and you're going to be graduating soon. Tell us about your journey, your major, and how you've gotten to this point.
So in terms of like my journey throughout being in the University of Rhode Island, even just getting here wasn't as maybe traditional as a lot of maybe other students would have been for. I graduated from high school and I actually was denied from URI when I first applied through the Town Development Program. And I had a lot of personal things going on throughout my high school career, but I went to CCRI for a little bit. Then I actually ended up reapplying for URI through their Town Development Program. And I was lucky enough to get accepted and actually be a Rhody Ram for the first time ever. And I was ecstatic to be a part of just like the community that URI has to offer, being involved in different student organizations and really putting myself out there and seeing like what the world was for me here at URI. I've gotten to meet so many different people and really build so many beautiful, meaningful relationships with them. And it's changed my perspective on myself, the life that I'm living, and the human being that I want to become, not only for myself, but also others around me as well. So the fact that I've had the opportunity to do so much, be involved, and learn about what it means to also be a first generation student has changed my life in ways I could have never imagined. And I'm more than thankful and grateful to be a student at the University of Rhode Island. I'm really looking forward to my transition after my undergrad is over and taking everything I've learned throughout my college career and putting it into my life after college. So it's been amazing.
No, that's great. I appreciate that reflection, but we're not letting you go quite yet. And so I know that the two of you are super active on campus, and for our alums and those of us that missed that student engagement, the fun times that we had outside the classroom. Janae, let's start with you. Can you talk a little bit about some of the unique things that you are doing outside the classroom, please?
So right now I'm involved in a lot of clubs and I'm a student athlete. So I'm on the gymnastics team. I've been on there since last semester, and this is my second semester on the team, and we're about to have a few meets, so pretty exciting. I also do a lot of clubs. I'm in the Marine Science Society, Shark Club, and Fishing Club. For Fishing Club, I'm actually a part of the social media team, so I get to experience it all.
That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. So Nathaniel, same question, if you could talk a little bit about your involvements on campus, and then if you could also talk about that internship I just learned about as well, would be great.
Yeah, definitely. So in terms of my involvement on campus, my freshman year I was able to be involved in Exposure, which is a multicultural dance organization. And along with that, I was actually able to be involved in Bond, Brothers Under New Direction, which is a community service organization. And the experience that I've had with both of these organizations really kind of aligned like the person that I was as coming into the University of Rhode Island and trying to like be involved into so many different things. But I was really able to learn more about how I was able to really build a community for myself here and being a part of something that was bigger than who I was. And that transcended into being active in my community, both on campus, and really learning more about just my cultural values when it came to like the multicultural dance organization as well. And with just being involved in those two organizations, it made me want to get more involved and made me want to explore more about what URI really had to offer. So where I am right now, I have a career ambassador position at Roosevelt CCE right now, and that's been able to really help me understand more about my professionalism and personal skills, where I've been able to help students with their resumes, their cover letters, and essentially even look for internships as well. But the internship that you had mentioned, that I also mentioned to you as well, this is something that was kind of unexpected. I was reached out by one of the executives of the organization, and I ended up having the opportunity to be interviewed, to go through their info session and learn more about what this organization really consists of. And essentially what I'm going to be doing is running my own painting service over the summer. And throughout this entire semester, I'm going to be preparing for what that's actually going to look like, hiring my employees, having a marketing team, and really focusing on what areas in essentially the state of Rhode Island that I'm going to be really focusing on as well. And really, I'm going to be able to really gain real business and life experience that I've always been wanting to learn. So everything that I've been able to learn throughout my college career, I'll actually be able to put it to the test with this actual internship, and the growth and the value that I'll be able to get from that would be incredible. And I'm really looking forward to it.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. You know, it's just great to hear your stories and your involvement. And what I love about URI students is they're not just connected to just their major. You know, Janae, marine bio, you got the shark stuff, but you also have gymnastics. You know, Nathaniel with political science and business. I know you're also interning at the State House. Wonder if you could share with us, what's your favorite class so far? Now, keep in mind, we have a URI professor on this call, so be careful on what you select. But May Ray, none are engineers, so I apologize about that. Wondering, Janae, what's been your favorite class so far and why?
I did tell you what my favorite class was a while back, but I think I've changed it. Right now, I'm taking a class, Bio 492, and it's a student research class. So I get to work with a professor and do research on stingrays in the Cayman Islands. So we've looked at like tag and recapture data, and we're exploring how we can look at social network analysis and other things like that. So it's really been awesome, especially experiencing it as a freshman.
Thank you. I think we need a URI trip to the Cayman Islands to assess your knowledge. So if you need a chaperone or two, I think I can find someone. That's great. Nathaniel, how about yourself? Favorite class for us?
So it's pretty tough to name like a favorite class because I have like the political science and like business kind of intertwined with one another. So I'm going to have to go with two of them for that sake. But two of my favorite classes have to be the entrepreneurship class that I'm taking right now, because it's aligned with what running a business essentially going to look like, and doing more research on how like the market essentially is going to be working in, and even the changes that have come with, you know, the pandemic and all those other different things as well. So there's a lot of knowledge that I've been gaining with that. But for the political science, interestingly enough, I would have to say the women in politics class that I took last year in the spring semester was actually very interesting to learn from, because a lot of what that class was talking about was a lot of the different things that women would be going through in terms of like running for office, a lot of the corporate positions they would actually try to run for, and the difficulties that come with that, you know, with gender inequality, and even learning more about like the confidence gap that comes between different genders, as well as the understanding that comes with politics and how that kind of puts together the society that we live in and how different genders are viewed. It's really been able to help me understand just the positions that I've worked in, even at URI, and working with different people and things like that, it's really helped me understand more about like the world around me and not really feeling as marginalized as kind of society puts a lot of people in when it comes to working in different fields and being a different gender or even being a different ethnicity and all those other different things as well. So that's been a huge factor for the way I see the like kind of like how the world is put together, just like in that aspect when it comes to politics and gender as well.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. You know, it's been so fun just chatting with you this few minutes. And the reason why I wanted us to get to know you first is the one fact I'd like to disclose, if you don't mind, is we almost lost both of you. And it was due to the RhodyNow scholarships that helped you stay in school. And I can't imagine not hearing what I just heard and not having you part of our community. I wonder if you could each share what receiving this scholarship has had on the impact on your education so far. So Janae, why don't we start with you on that, if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit.
Yeah, so after first semester, I went home for winter break, and me and my mom realized that we really weren't able to pay my tuition. Since it's out of state, it's really expensive, and we were looking for other scholarships, applying to small scholarships, big scholarships, asking organizations that we have connections with for money, and nothing was really working out. And so it came to a point where me and my mom were really thinking about not being able to return back to URI and just going to an in-state school and just having to really put up with it. But I really didn't want to go to an in-state school in Maryland. I wanted to stay at URI because of all the opportunities that I had already experienced in first semester and what I was going to get to experience in this semester. And I talked to Michelle Fontes and Dr. Webb, and she really helped me, both of them, they really helped me out. And I was able to receive the RhodyNow scholarship, and now I'm here back in my dorm on campus, and I'm really thankful. And it's had a huge impact on me because I really get to stay here and experience everything that URI has to offer me.
Thanks for sharing that. You know, Dr. Webb is our wonderful faculty member who helps run our marine bio program, and she picked up the phone. That's what I love about our faculty. Dean, I have this great student. There's no way we can lose her. She's fantastic. What can we do? And what was nice is I was able to call the foundation and say, hey, what can we do? And we solved it. And so, Janae, I appreciate you sharing that because I know you and your mom both wanted you here, and your faculty absolutely love you. And that advocacy by our faculty, seeing your work, wanting to do that was just fantastic. So thank you for sharing that. Nathaniel, wonder if you could share what the scholarship has meant to you and helping you stay here.
So what the scholarship has really done for me ties into a lot of what the reasons for me even wanting to go to college really have to do with. So being a talent development student, just affording to be able to go to college was really out of my reach. So that has been a huge benefit to me even being here as a URI student. But with the RhodyNow scholarship, it's really helped me understand more about like how much just the scholarship and the people behind it really care about our students and really want them to go through their URI experience, finish through it, and really become the individuals that they're destined to be. So the fact that my overall college experience has been a big roller coaster, and I've had situations where I didn't think I was going to be able to finish my degree, and I really questioned my ability to really be the student that I wanted to become and continue my journey throughout my college career. And the fact that I've been able to have something like this support me and be there for me has been monumental. It's just the person I'm really looking to become, and really understanding like how much just the URI community in itself has really just done for me as a student, and even just overall as a person. So it's more than just what the scholarship represents. It's more of just like the support and the gratitude they have for the students that, you know, are URI students and want to be able to continue their college journey and really become that very best version of themselves, for sure.
Thank you both for sharing that. I appreciate the honesty and the part of our community. What I love about URI, URI makes students, and let me explain what I mean by that. There are colleges out there where the students attending probably already have their destiny planned, and that is their role in education. What I love about URI, what it did for my family personally, for me personally and others, is we take amazing, talented students, you know, Nathaniel, Janae, you have dreams, you have hope, you are part of our community, and then you think big, you dream big. And what I love is that URI has never lost that and continues to do it. And it's been so easy to say that's so hard. You know, close to about 30% of our students, believe it or not, are still first gen. Right? Think about that. It's amazing. You know, the growth in our Pell students and others. So I just want to thank you too for your stories and sharing, because it really is a representation of our amazing community. You know, our students are talented, but URI and when you come together as a community just makes you exceptional. Last question for me. Where are you going? What's your big dream, right? What do you hope? And I know, Janae, this is tough for you because you're new. And Nathaniel, I know thinking, so I'd love to know what's your dream post URI. So Janae, we'll start with you.
Being a freshman, it is very hard to absolutely be 100% positive on what I'm going to do. But my class, the Bio 492 class, has really encouraged me to do some research or something with that along the lines. It's really been going back and forth, just hopping all over the place. I'm not entirely sure yet, but I really do want to do research on things like sharks, stingrays, whales, things like that.
Thank you. We'll give you a couple of years to figure it out, seeing this is your first year, but you know, I love the concept of research because it's the questions we're asking that solve so many complexities. And so thank you. All right, Nathaniel, I know graduation is looming. What are we thinking are the big plans?
So from everything that I've been able to experience being a URI student, I really enjoyed working with other students and even just working with other people in general on issues that are going on in the world and even being involved in that community. So I definitely would say kind of in the consulting and development area when it comes to learning more about how people can really improve themselves, whether it's applying for maybe a job, working on their finances, things like that. I would say definitely the consulting area would be a really big thing for me, and maybe even running my own business one day for sure. And a lot of the skills that I've been able to learn from the classes, being involved on campus, a lot of different jobs that I've been able to have has been able to narrow it down a little bit more for me. There's still a couple things that I'm still trying to decide on what direction exactly, but that's kind of the area that I really want to focus on, really being an activist and an advocate for my community and really making a difference for a lot of students that are looking to maybe go to college or maybe even trying to really be someone that wants to stand up for issues that are going on in the world or in the community and things like that too. So that's kind of the direction I've been looking towards as of right now.
Great, you are well on your way. That was terrific. So I was honored to be able to ask the two of you those questions. At this part of the program, I'd like to turn it back to John and Jenny, who've done a great job with this. And so John, back to you.
Dean, thank you so much. Nathaniel, thank you. And Janae, thank you. Really, really happy and proud to be a representative of URI, knowing that we're helping students like you both. As Linda just mentioned in the chat, you are rock stars, truly rock stars. And thank you so much for sharing your story. Sometimes it's really hard to do. And we really appreciate you being here. And Dean, thank you for leading the conversation. So I'm really honored to introduce my colleague, Jenny Demeter, who is the Associate Director of Annual Leadership Giving here at URI Foundation. And she's going to lead us into our question and answer portion. Jenny?
Thank you, John, and thank you, Nathaniel and Janae as well. And before we get to questions and comments, we have a parent who was not able to join us tonight. So what I'd like to do is start with a video. Rand and Anna Morimoto are parents, out-of-state parents from California. Their son Chip is a sophomore enrolled in arts and sciences. And as I mentioned, Rand and Anna could not participate tonight, but they wanted to share this video and share, why they chose to support RhodyNow Scholarship this year and why it's meaningful to them.
We've been very committed to supporting URI, especially in these difficult times where students and families really need to be able to get supported to help their students continue on with their educational journey. As an out-of-state family, we know that our son has been well taken care of by the faculty and everyone at URI, and we're grateful for that. And so we give, whether it's a large gift or a lot of small gifts, we know it all adds up, and hopefully it helps out and really makes a difference for families and students that need it.
Thank you, John, for that. So now we have some other donors in the room tonight that wish to share their story with us. And I'm going to start with Kathy and Dwayne Golding. I will ask you to unmute, share your relationship with URI, and tell us, what inspired you to make a gift to RhodyNow Scholarship?
Sure. Hi. Hopefully we don't have an audio issue. We've had some lines going across. I don't know. Good. Okay. So, well, I'm an alum, 77, and I'm a political science major, Nathaniel. So ended up in the banking industry. Don't know how, but it was successful, and URI was certainly the reason why I think I had a successful career. I've been volunteering either with the Alumni Association in many roles and also currently with the foundation. So I've remained active, which has afforded me a lot of opportunities to stay connected. My husband and I are also 30+ year season ticket holders for men's basketball. We love being around the students. But we've noticed the last couple of years a lot of information on the Student First Fund coming out, telling us about the challenges that students have been having and the needs that they've had. We also heard about the Rhody Pantry. So, much like the parent we just heard from, we've been making donations smaller. But when we decided we wanted to make a donation to the campaign, we reached out to Jenny. And Jenny was great explaining to us some of the other options, and one of which was the RhodyNow Scholarship. So my husband and I felt it was important to support students, especially in this time where it's challenging for parents that have lost their jobs or for students trying to make ends meet, going to school, working at the same time. And it was a way for us to give today. So over the next few years, our money will be put to good use for students like the two of you, who I'm so impressed with. You're doing a great job. You're taking advantage of the opportunities, and fantastic. It was so different when I was a student. So we're really impressed. And so hopefully this will help.
Thank you. We are so grateful to have you part of our community, and we appreciate all of your support to all the areas that you give to, and with your time and your resources as well. So thank you, Kathy and Dwayne. And now I'd like to invite Heather and Bill Burgess to share their relationship with URI and what inspired them to make a gift to the scholarship.
Thanks, Jenny. Hi, I'm Heather Burgess, and my husband Bill and I have a sophomore daughter at URI. I also am an alum from 1993, and I just want to say how impressive I think it is that when an obstacle was put in the path of so many students' ability to pay tuition and room and board, that URI stepped up to find a solution. Like, as an out-of-state family, I have a great deal of confidence that my daughter too is being very well cared for by the university. Like, oftentimes I think we're asked to donate to future campaigns, like, building stadiums or capital improvements. But RhodyNow was intended to support students who had already committed to be part of the URI family. And that's what families do, is we support each other in times of need. So that's the exact reason that Bill and I thought it was important to donate to the RhodyNow Scholarship Program.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Bill. And now I'd like to open it up. If Linda, I thank you for putting your comment into the chat there. And if anybody else would like to share comments or to write something in the chat, or any questions for Dean or the students, we are open. I can keep an eye on the chat, or you can just unmute yourself and introduce who you are.
This is Lil. I just want to acknowledge Rick Strickard, who's on the call, who's a member of our campaign committee. So he is one of our key volunteer leaders helping us with the capital campaign, which is going very well. And I just also want to acknowledge Kathy Goulding, who stepped in to help us with, for those of you who are in Rhode Island, the special obligation bond March 2nd, which is education is question 1, and URI has a $57 million ask in there to get our fine arts building upgraded, and Kathy stepped in to be the volunteer leader for that. So we're very lucky to have so many great involved alumni and supporters. So thank you.
Actually, Jen, can I ask a question? First of all, thank you so much, Lil and Dean, for organizing this. I think it provided us a great opportunity to meet 2 fantastic students that I had nothing to do with educating, but I'm going to try to recruit them to engineering. I don't know, but you represent URI so well. You're so poised, so well-spoken, so honest. And it's not easy to share personal stories. So I really commend you, and I wish you all the best, Nathaniel. I know you're graduating, but you have a beautiful name, by the way, and I hope to see you back on campus in the fall. So I do want to ask a question, just general question. How many students have you helped? Has this program helped? How many students do you think are still in need, or just gauge how much been raised?
So to date, we have raised a little over $488,000. And a large thanks to all of you that have already contributed. Really appreciate it. We are working toward trying to say that we can get over the 500. So we're only 12,000 away. So really excited for that. In terms of the number of students, and Dina, feel free to jump in here as well. But in terms of the RhodyNow scholarship specifically, I know that we've helped over 100 students, but I'll let Dean speak to that end.
Yes, so I wanted to mention, so 2 things, actually. I'm going to go back. One thing that URI did was we also looked at our policies to help students stay in school while we were helping. So great example, most schools drop students from classes from non-payment. We actually not only did not drop students for non-payment, but we increased the amount that they owed to help them persist, to give families time to find resources. And so Kathy, I look at you mentioned about banking. You know, the banking folks said, but Dean, our collections are going to go up. And I said, no, they're not. We need to invest in families and students and give people time. Policies that were from 1975 in this time. And so while that was happening, we were awarding and calling students. So we were saying, we're still going to let you register. We're not letting you give up. We're not going to let a balance happen. So we had the RhodyNow scholarship, plus we had additional resources and aid. Lil knows about some other things. We actually shifted some resources from the university to help. We made over 1,000 phone calls to students saying, we are keeping you with us. I'll give you an interesting number. 970 students were leaving us, left housing and saying, I think I need to take a semester off. We were able to keep 790 of them by saying, if you need to leave housing, stay with us and let us work with you. And so Lil knows I can spend money any way I get it. And so every pool we had, we were literally, and what we were doing is we started with our seniors because they register first. Ooh, you owe us money, let's work with you. And then we did our juniors, and then we did our sophomores, and then I went back to the senior team and gave them an update of how great we were doing and what we needed. And so RhodyNow was developing in all these different resources. And I wanted to share it that way because I take the fiscal responsibility of our budget and aid very seriously. Our policies and what we can do to help is really important. And so it's not just giving to take care of something, it's working with the policies we have. And Mayray knows this. I've been talking to the faculty senate and leadership more than I ever have. How can faculty help? And so it has been hundreds of students from even mid-October to now that received grants. The RhodyNow was an amazing component. And in a couple of weeks, we actually start the process for next fall. And we're going to start again, working with students, working with families. And it's amazing how revisiting policies, being flexible, finding resources and collaborating has been our magic. So I know I answered that, Mary, a little bit differently, but I wanted to let folks know that this is not just about waiting for money to help students. We're doing everything we can. And I'm pleased to say that during all this, we're okay with our collections. You know, the Moody's group that I get to talk to when they talk about bonds, they say, we want to talk about your policy. And I said, go for it. I said, our students, when we give them time, and our families partner with us. And so we have one of the best ratings out there, but probably have some of the most flexible collection and working with our families. And so I just wanted you to know that I thought it was something that does connect, but there's been several hundred since October, and I have more. It's the reality of URI and the times, and we'll just keep doing that. So thank you for asking that.
Oh, thanks, Dean. And actually, Lil, I think you can remind me, but you once mentioned that the actual amount of money that's issued to a student, it wasn't that much. I forgot the number, but it sort of blew my mind about how such a little amount can really make a huge difference. Maybe you can remind me of the number. But
it's a number I got from Dean, actually, where, you know, as little as 2,000 can keep a student in school. And so that's the kind of thing that Dean's office's work is doing, is that could make or break keeping a student at URI. And that's why it's been able to help hundreds of students. But you're absolutely right. It helps break down these barriers. But as little as 2,000, not to say 2,000 is a lot of money, but in the greater scheme, when it changes lives.
I'd like to talk and say thank you so much for participating in this. I've enjoyed everything that both of you have said, and I agree, you have tremendous poise and you have a great future ahead of you, both of you. And as a former high school teacher, I would remember so many times when students came to me and were so happy about getting into a university that they wanted to go to, whether it was URI or another university, and the cost of it was daunting for their families. So this is a very important type of scholarship program that URI has.
Thanks, Caroline. So nice to see you as well.
Nice to see you, John.
Thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here. Just waiting to get back on campus and go to a game.
Right? Yeah, exactly. We all are. We're all waiting for basketball and being able to
Football,
get in
everything.
person. So, but it's been exciting to see the games virtually, at least. So we have that, if nothing else.
That's right.
So does anyone have any other comments or questions for our students directly? Not to put anyone on the spot here.
I'll just say thank you. You know, like everyone else, I'm super impressed by both of you. You handle yourselves amazingly well. You know, you're young people, and I feel like I'm talking to somebody who's my age. I'm impressed. You're going to go super far. And also just to say to the URI staff, this is definitely a place that feels like family. And as a parent, I really appreciate all of the things that you're doing for our students. It's wonderful. We're grateful. So, and to see, you know, my daughter's a freshman, and to see where these kids are going, it gives me a lot of hope for her. So thank you again.
Thank you, Linda. And Dean, would you like to say some closing remarks?
So to Nathaniel and Janae, you're fantastic. And I don't know if anyone knows this, but we did not, like, you represent our students so well. It's not like we went out there and said, find two of the best. You are two of the best among a wonderful group of students. You know, to our alums, to our family, to our friends who help us, thank you for believing in the work that we're doing. This is such an amazing place. We have such amazing people, and during these tough times, to see the resilience in the community coming together to help is is just amazing. So, you know, Lil, you know, Jenny, John, Matt, and everyone, thanks for all the great work you're doing in the partnership. It's so amazing to have a family unit working on this. And, you know, go Rhody, we've got this. You know, these are tough times and we continue to do great things, and we'll continue to do so when we work together. So I'm honored to have been able to be part of this. Thank you all for your generosity and service and support. And Janae, Nathaniel, can't wait to see you at graduation. And Janae, can't wait to see those great things. And I still want to go to the Cayman Islands. I think we need to do a J-term travel class next year to the Caymans is what I'm thinking. So terrific. Thank you all.
Okay.
And that concludes our program for the evening. We will send a thank you email with the recording for this. If you'd like to share with family and friends, feel free to do so. Thank you again for joining us. We're so happy and so pleased that you could be with us.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Well, stay well.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.